Hey everybody, it's me, Carrie, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Farmington Hills, Michigan. I am coming in a little bit early today, so I'm getting my video set up, of course, like always. So let me just get it to where I can see if anybody says hi. I see a few of you have popped on, so hello, how are you? I am excited because I think I told you guys last Saturday that the month of July is World Watercolor Day. And I don't know why, it just is. So I'm going to show you a watercoloring technique that I think is really fun. I will show you, I made this card. This is not watercoloring. I did this using the blends, and I thought it was okay. I like it. You know, it's cute, but it didn't thrill me. So let me show you what I did. Now, for this one, I did create it on my Stamparatus. So you can see where I have the spoons, and I did that before I did the card so I could see how many are going to fit when I put it on there. Okay, and I marked where this piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4, so I marked where it was going to fit, and then I decided, you know, not so much. So I grabbed some, this is regular Whisper White or basic white cardstock. Hi everybody. It's very hot. You're right, Chris, it's very hot. So I grabbed some watercolor paper, and I have measured it out. I kind of went, okay, only 3 spoons are going to fit this way, or I can do 4 spoons this way. So I decided to do 3. So I marked another spot, and that's one of the things, one of the tips that I have. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. It's not letting me zoom. Oh, yes, it did. This is why I have to stand up when I do stuff. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so I can explain that setting this up is a really good tip. And then just keep your spoon on there if you know you're going to work on the projects, because it gave me a chance to see how many I could put on the piece of cardstock that I wanted to use. Plus now when I'm going to change it to watercolor, I've cut this one a little bit smaller. I could have cut it the same size, but I cut it a little bit smaller, and I just don't want to do 4. And even if I did, I have to find a new position for it because I've cut it smaller, so it'll be too tight. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, I'm going to do this one this way. So I've made a little mark over here. So I'm going to line that up and try to get it even. I say try because it's me. Put down my magnets, and then let me zoom back out for you guys. Okay, so you guys have seen me do this enough times to know how to use the Stamparatus, but I'm going to show you again anyway in case you don't know. So excuse me, I'm going to turn it sideways so that I can see a little bit better. And I'm using my Memento ink because I am going to watercolor. I could use StazOn. StazOn might have been a better choice, in fact. And I forgot to print one of these, or stamp one of these so it would dry. So you are going to have to hear my heat gun. Where is my press? There it is. My little press. No, this is not a Stampin' Up! Item. It is made with a cookie press. So now I'm going to scoot it down one. Ink it again. You guys know this technique, so if you do, just bear with me for the people who maybe don't know that much about the Stamparatus, which is the world's greatest positioning tool. Actually, I don't like how that one came out. It's a little light, so I'm going to ink it again. That's better. Scoot down one. I don't care if they're slightly different, but that one just didn't have enough definition for me to be happy with it. And I'm not worried about that ink because it's not going to touch my project. So there we go. So now I have my 3 spoons. So I'm going to move my magnets so that they're not near each other. Put that back in place for now. In case you did not know, there are places to hold the magnets. So, but we are done with that. Now I'm going to heat set this just to be sure that it's dry, okay? Normally I just kind of do this, but I don't want it to run when I wet it. So give me just a minute. Okay, that's probably fine. All right, now here's what we're going to do. I've got my re-inkers. I have my ink pads over here, and I have a piece of paper towel just in case. This spoon is from Speedy Recovery. It's such a cute stamp set. I just really like it. Okay, I will zoom in just a minute. I just want to show you everything. I'm going to be using this one on the inside. I have my little water bottle. This is I wish I remembered where I got it, but look, it's got like a pointy thing. So it's great for when I want to refill my water brushes. So I love it. And then I have, this is so old, my mom had it, and I use it all the time. I think it's literally a personal ashtray. My mom did not smoke, so I don't get it. But, you know, think about it. If this were a cigarette, obviously this doesn't fit right, but it would sit there. So you could, I don't know, walk around at a party. It's very, very Mad Men 50s, right? I don't know, it's funny. But I'm going to be using it as the bowl. Then I have my 3 markers. These are the 3 colors I have in the inks too. It's Tahitian Tide, or Carry Big Blow, if you know what that means. Sweet Sorbet, and Parakeet Party. And these are all the new ink colors. Look, you can tell I've been playing. How funny. And then I have a blending brush in Tahitian Tide. And then I have my Wink of Stella, and it's a new Wink of Stella, so if you've never used it, I'm going to show you how to use a brand new one. And then I've got a few things that I've kind of pre-got together. So here we go. We're going to start with this, and I'm going to zoom in now. Takes a minute to see the zoom. There we go. Let's get that up. Okay. All right. We should be good now. This is what I'm going to do. I want to make sure that my brush is wet, and you do want to squeeze it, and it will start to drip, but I want to have some water to play with, so I'm just going to squeeze some water in here for now. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to wet my, this is the watercolor, the Fluid 100 watercolor that we sell. I'm just going to wet that down. Not saturating it, just wetting it. There we go. And then you don't really have to do that, but okay. So now I am going to start with the Tahitian Tide, and I've already squeezed it, but then what I found, especially with a newer ink pad, they don't necessarily want to squeeze. So I dropped in a little bit of re-inker. Okay, I don't think I need any more, but you just drop a little bit in. All of these already have ink in them, all 3 of my colors, so I just want you guys to be aware. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that there's some water dripped into that color. Okay, and now I'm just going to grab some of that, and I'm going to very carefully put a little bit of it in the spoon, and then it's going to run off the spoon like it's pouring. Now see, that looks a little light to me, maybe because I already had some water in there. So I'm going to add another drop here so it can be a little bit darker. But see how it's starting to run already? And some of my black is running too, which I'm not too crazy about. So that's running more than I wanted it to. Bummer. I'll show you my finished one in a minute. But basically that is how I did all of the colors. Then you're going to want to clean off your brush, and before you put your before you put your ink pad away, unless it's just the re-inker, but because I put water in there, I'm going to take that out because I don't want water going into my actual ink pad. And even though it shouldn't, because I don't store them upside down, because, you know, that's how it goes. I don't store them like that. Just in case, you know, you toss something and it flips over. Those things are, oh, thank you, Jane. That's very nice. So anyway, this is running too much. I'm a little disappointed that that happened. I think I got my base too wet. So let me just show you. I'm going to flip it over where it's not so wet so I can show you guys how I would have preferred it to look. And then I dried one anyway because I wanted to show it to you dry. So, but I wanted you to see this technique because I think it's fun, and you don't need to do like the alcohol based where you make it runny and all that stuff. I mean, that's nice and cool, but this, you have a little more control over it, and then you can just add more water as you go and see, this was more what I was looking for. So I definitely did have it, you know, and then you can see where if it would have dripped off the spoon kind of idea. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? And then you're going to want to clean off your brush, obviously not on your project. And I just kept wetting my brush and squeezing out the color because you're going to want to change it in between colors. There are more brushes in the brush set, so just so you know. So I'm going to have to clean that a little better. And again, I'm going to clean that up because I put water in it. Okay, so basically that is what I did with the spoons. And then what I did, I'm going to move this out of the way, and you definitely want something underneath, some grid paper or something underneath, because watercoloring does make a mess. But oh, it's so fun. So it's okay. So here is my finished one that has been dried, and I already started to do what I'm going to show you. What I did then was, if you guys can zoom in a little more. So if you guys can see, I started to color in the hearts, and they are going to color in darker. So I actually used the pointy end, and it doesn't take much to color in these little hearts. And you just want, now you can use StazOn ink also, and actually for watercoloring, I should have used StazOn. But it works if you're careful with Memento. If you don't have any StazOn, just be careful with what you're doing. But see how when you color it in, now the little hearts are a little bit stronger, right? Than would this work on regular cardstock? It'll work, Meryl, but not as well. The shimmery white cardstock will work better than our regular cardstock because you want it to be porous, and this is porous, and it holds the water. Otherwise it sort of wants to run off, and it just doesn't look quite the same as this technique does. Or like I said, you could do it with your blends markers or your watercolor pencils. You're just not going to get this. I mean, this is very much a watercoloring look, right? It looks watercolored. So let me zoom back out so I can finish making the card. Move this stuff out of the way. So I'm using a basic white for my base, which is pretty much my favorite. Basic white and the thick basic vanilla, but both of them thick, or very vanilla, sorry. Love them for a card base, because then you can buy multi-packs of the color and trim them down. Now this is the Tahitian Tide, and it is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4, and this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. And the watercolor, grab it. The Fluid 100 watercolor paper comes 5 1/2 by 7. So when you cut it down to 3, 3 1/2 would be perfect, but I wanted mine 3 3/4. So this piece is not going to be half. That's leftover. But this is pretty good. I like to keep it on hand. There's 10 sheets in it for $9, so You might be able to find watercolor paper less expensive. I don't know, but ours is very thick. It's a really high quality watercolor paper. So you may or may not care about that. And I am not here to judge you. So do what you want. All right. So now I am going to adhere. Oh, look. See, I didn't waste. I stamped on it and changed my mind about coloring it. Isn't that funny? That's a really old stamp. So this has been, this half piece or whatever it is has been sitting in there, and I've always been grabbing other ones to do different sizes. So it's just been sitting there, but why waste it? I mean, it's like I said, it's not cheap. So then I'm just going to set that on there. Now to add a little bit more fun to it, oh, look at that. I really oozed it, didn't I? Wow. Don't add so much glue that it oozes out. It happens. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I want it to sparkle a little bit, so I'm going to add some Wink of Stella. So when you get your Wink of Stella, there's going to be this black band in here. So you want to take this off, and you know the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey thing? Think opposite for these, and well, not these, but for your watercolor painters, they screw on and off lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. I don't know. Okay, so you're going to take that off. You're going to pull off the ring. If you have tiny fingers, now you have a little black ring for yourself. Very exciting. Definitely want to shake your Wink of Stella. And then I'm going to just grab this. There are two on each side. There's a part that says push. Then you're just going to push, and it's going to start. Can you see it? It's oozing the Wink of Stella in there. Can you see it oozing? And then it should start to come out. Now this is oozing kind of a little bit crazy, in my opinion. Hang on. When it's new, right? New things take a little work. I could use my old one, but it's like almost empty. So just trying to make sure this one, there we go. This is, oh look, I got a little spot there. Good thing I'm going to cover that up. Okay. So now I'm just going to very carefully color over, and it might make it run a little bit, and that's okay. Just going to add a little, oh, just going to add a lot of shimmer, apparently. It's definitely a new tube. I don't know how well, the Wink of Stella does not always show up well, but that big glob should have shown up. So just be careful when it's a new tube, because it's going to want to ooze perhaps a little more than you want it to. Like that. It's a little much. And you're not going to be able to fill it in perfectly because it's watercolored, right? So it's going to just be a little bit, but it kind of, you know, gives it a little bit more of a Mary Poppins kind of spoonful of sugar feel to it. Again here. And then just so it's happy stuff falling out of your spoons. And just play with it until you get it to where you like the way it looks. And obviously I got a little much on mine, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dab to get some of that off. Okay, so I don't know how well that's showing up, but I'm hoping you guys can see the sparkle. And it did cause my red to run a little bit, my little sweet sorbet, but that's okay. I'm good. All right, now I'm going to take some of the glitter ribbon, or shimmer ribbon, shiny ribbon, I forget what it's called, but it's in the new mini, and it's been out before. You guys have seen it before. So now where I'm placing my sentiment has been determined for me. Thank you very much. A little Wink of Stella ooze. So I'm going to put my ribbon right above that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of our Stampin' Seal on there to hold my ribbon in place. Like so, right above that. And then I like to put something strong to hold my ribbons on the back, even if I'm going to use my liquid glue to adhere it to the front of the card. Okay. I just love all the sparklies. I'm hoping you guys can see it. Nobody has said, so I'm hoping you guys can see that shimmer on there. It's so pretty. And then this is going to go on with dimensionals, of course, to cover my schmutz. Those are black. Oh, I have the white little ones. Time to, oh, they're the big ones. Yay. So I'm going to put some of those on. And then I'm going to use some of these half pieces here. Oh, these are my ribbon scissors. Oops. Okay. So don't forget I'm going to do the inside too. So I'll show you guys that in just a minute. And I want to cover my little schmutz. And sending well wishes. Isn't that great? It's like medicine, right? So how cute is that? So now on the inside, with my Memento ink, I'm going to go ahead and ink this up really good. And then I'm going to just stamp a box of Kleenex up there. Which, it's cute like that. It looks totally fine. Let that dry real quick. Move that out of your sight so you don't have to watch me flip-flapping it around. Then I'm just going to take my blending brush. Now you have to remember now, this is going to bleed onto the back of my card. So if you don't want it to bleed on the back of your card, don't do this. Don't do this part, because it's fine, like that, right? I'm just going to take my blending brush. This is the light Tahitian Tide. And I'm just going careful. I don't want to color the Kleenex, just the box. And I'm just filling it in, just to give it some color. This looks cute. I could have stamped it in the Tahitian Tide and then that would have been it. But we're still coloring. So I wanted to show you that you can color it. Because see, it still looks really cute, right? Even though it is a dark color. And you can also stamp it in something else. Stamp it in a lighter color, a gray or something, and get that effect. But there's the inside, and then you can stamp in here, wishing you a speedy recovery, whatever, or just a note. But I just thought this was so cute to have the spoons be dropping some well wishes. Some sparkly spoons. So I hope you guys like it. Again, here is the one that I did with the blending brushes, which the blends, I'm sorry, not blending brushes, with the blends. Anyway, I hope you guys like it. I'm not seeing too many card sets. Yeah, this is not a noticeable one, and I'd been saying for a little while I need a a feel better card, and this is just a really cute one. Has what I think it can be a vase, but I think it's a hot water bottle with plants, and then of course, a cup of soup, a cup of tea, some flowers. It's just really cute. I really like it. So yes, I know you want it, Jane. Of course you do. It's really cute. I wish I could remember what page it's on. I don't know that I wrote the price in here. It doesn't look like it. Nope. But I think it's like 20-ish bucks, somewhere in $18, $22 range, but it's very fun. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. I'm very excited about something new I'm going to be offering. It's called TLC. What does that mean? News is coming. I'm trying to build up your anticipation, so act excited. Again, if you want to go shopping, my website is MemoryINKers.com. My email is MemoryINKers@gmail.com. If you're shopping under $150, hostess code is 2, T as in Tom, 6, J as in Jack, X as in X-ray, P as in Paul, R as in Robert, B as in Bob, or for my daughter, B as in Brittany, depending on how you are feeling. And then lastly, don't forget it is celebration. So for every $50, you're going to get to pick free stuff. So, and there's also a free, like if you're going over $150 and you're going crazy, or you're going in with your family and friends, there's a free stamp set that you can only get if your party goes over $300. So just a thought. All right, don't forget to share. Thank you for those who have shared. Make sure you comment below that you shared. If you're seeing this on someone else's share or on my YouTube channel, I go live at facebook.com/MemoryINKers. Okay, you guys, have a great week. Bye.